Hey everybody, my name is Rachel Eslick of Reach Fitness, and I wanted to give you some tips today regarding wrist pain and how to avoid it when you're working with kettlebells. So a couple things, when we're in rack position with the kettlebell, by the way, I should probably address this wristband on my hand. I don't wear wristbands when I'm working with kettlebells, but that is one of the easiest things you can do initially if you're really having some bruising or some bad pain is you can throw one of these bad boys on while you're learning and get some discomfort alleviated that way. But eventually I would love for everyone to get rid of these and just be able to perform movements just on your bare wrist without the crutch of a wristband. Okay, so in rack position, when we have the kettlebell on our wrist, we want to make sure our wrist is straight. Okay, so that's going to put some pressure on the back of your wrist and forearm, just that, but definitely don't bend your wrist backwards when you're in rack position. Nice, straight, strong wrist, thumb towards your body. The size of the kettlebell is sometimes going to impact how that feels on the back of your arm. So this smaller kettlebell feels not the greatest, but if I bump up to a heavier kettlebell like this 26, suddenly it actually feels better because it's not like a pointy area of the kettlebell just right directly on the back of the wrist. So changing the size of the kettlebell might make a little bit of a difference and might actually help. A lot of times people have the wrist pain or the bang of the kettlebell on the back of their wrist and forearm in movements like cleans and snatches. And that's because you're taking the kettlebell from the ground or wherever it is right up onto your wrist. And if you're not performing it correctly, there can be like a whack. So kettlebell clean from the ground, like a vertical clean, you're just going to pick up the kettlebell, spin it around your wrist and end up in rack position. So it looks like this. It's a total body movement. You want to perform it with as much power as the weight that you're lifting. So I'm not going to pick up a 15-pound kettlebell and go crazy with it because it's only 15 pounds. If I had a 50-pound kettlebell, I would obviously have to put a lot more power behind my movement and my lift. So keep that in mind. I think a lot of times people pick up a lighter kettlebell and it whacks their wrist like that because they're using a little bit too much power. And so just lightening up a little bit will help. You want to keep the kettlebell upright as it's spinning around your wrist. You don't want it to go end over end because that's when you get the whack. So try to keep the kettlebell upright. Keep your elbow pulled in to your body and it shouldn't be whacking the back of your wrist. If you're trying and it's still whacking, go up a little bit in weight. Sometimes that heavier kettlebell will stay right side up because it's weighted at the bottom. And if you're not flinging it end over end, which is harder to do with a heavier kettlebell, sometimes that'll alleviate that wrist bang just right there. With the snatch, where I learned how to work with kettlebells, they would give people the wristband when you first learn snatches, because I think it helps just kind of get over the fear factor of, okay, now I'm taking a kettlebell up over my head, it's going to bang on my wrist and it's going to hurt. So I'm a fan of that. If you're just learning snatches, go ahead and throw a wrist guard on. I think it'll help you just kind of get over that hump. But with the snatch, which let me show you a snatch so that if you've never seen it, it's not a foreign concept. You're punching all the way up overhead. The kettlebell is on the back of your wrist and your arm is by your ear. You're going from a swing, punching to the top. So a lot of times when people are a little bit less aggressive with their snatch, they kind of keep a straight arm and then the kettlebell slowly just whacks on the back of your wrist. So number one tip is to be aggressive, go for it, punch to the top super hard and super fast, and you're going to spear your hand through that kettlebell handle. It's almost like you're going to find the ball of the kettlebell on the back of your wrist before it finds you. So you can see the difference between, I'll do one where I keep my arm straight and it just kind of whacks the wrist. And then I'll do one breaking through my elbow, punching up and punching up quickly. So first, the way that you don't want to do it. And then the way that you do want to do it. No pain, no bang on the back of the wrist. You can do rep after rep after rep and not have bruising or any big issues. So I hope those tips helped you guys. If you have any other questions, please contact me. My website is reachfit.net, and you can find me on Instagram under reachfitrachel. Thanks for being here.